Are you thinking about selling in the Nashville-Franklin area? If so, then you're gonna wanna stay tuned because in today's video, I'm diving into savvy sellers. What does that mean? It means a seller who wants to sell right and sell smart. And I'm going to be giving you 3 ways that could actually cause you to not be a savvy seller. I'm tackling that in today's video. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin. I am a local Nashville real estate agent and founder of the Caitlin Martin Real Estate Team. I am with Weichert Realtors, the Andrews Group. Now, I specialize in helping savvy sellers, so that's sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as helping out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content. So in today's video, I'm actually tackling 3 ways that would take you from savvy seller to sad seller if you made these mistakes. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Number 1 is going to be using an agent who does not use professional photos or videos when it comes to listing your home. Now, you may think that that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it is still happening. And here's the thing, even in this crazy seller's market that we are in right now, where there is very high demand and low supply, that doesn't mean that you can just throw everything to the wind and not do what you need to do that ultimately helps you reach that savvy seller success. So, big mistake number 1, if you run across an agent who wants to use their iPhone to take photos, run. Do not walk, do not skip, run away as fast as you can. That is a huge mistake. You wanna make sure that you're using an agent who will provide that professional real estate photo and video for you. And that's critically important. And I'll give you a quick explainer as to why. The reason that you do not want to use an agent who will only take iPhone photos, there's a million and one, but ultimately it's doing you a disservice because we know, and I'm sure you're well aware, we are dealing with a massive reload population, and I'm guessing you may have seen the article from the Tennessean from a few weeks ago that says that another 200,000 people are expected to move here in the next 5 years. And that breaks down to about 109 people a day, which is bananas. However, because we know that we are dealing with such a massive relocation population, that means that those buyers, they're home searching online. And actually every year, the National Association of Realtors comes out with a home buyer and seller report. It tells us more statistics than we could ever possibly want to know about both buyers and sellers. And so what we know about buyers, we know that from that report, 95% plus of buyers are starting their home search online. So when they're searching online, what's the first thing that they come into contact with when they're home searching? Well, the first things that they're gonna see are your photos and if you do video. And so if your photos are not capturing their attention, they're not gonna walk through the door. And I'm not making that up because from that same National Association of Realtors home buyer and seller report, we know that around 61% of buyers who tour a home online are going to walk through it in person or at the very least have their agent do a virtual tour. So, do you see the correlation of how important it is to make sure that you have great photos that are standing out? Because that's going to correlate with how many people walk through your door. Now, I promise if you don't believe me, go look it up. You can find homes in the Middle Tennessee area where you can tell they are done by iPhone photos. And then compare that with other listings where you know they're professional photos. It makes a huge difference. And so you can be saying, okay, Caitlin, I believe you. We've got to have an agent who does professional photography, which, in case anybody's wondering, that is absolutely something that I provide complimentary to all of my sellers. But you may be wondering, okay, that's great, you take photos, but how do we make the photos look good? Because that actually brings me to point number 2, big mistakes that we see sellers make, and that is not staging the home or doing the 3 Ds that I like to say, the depersonalize, deep clean, and declutter. So those 2 together are actually, if you don't do them, that's gonna make you a sad seller, not a savvy seller. Why do I say that? Because again, as you know from what I just talked about, it's really, really important that your photos are capturing their attention online. And so one of the major ways to do that is especially decluttering the countertops. Now trust me, I get it. You may have several things on the countertops, example, but here's the thing. When it comes to selling your home, it's great to go ahead and pre-pack those things, put them away, because trust me, again, go on Zillow, do the research for yourself, but when you see those photos that are most likely done by an iPhone, but then you see the clutter, you're gonna comment more on the clutter than you are the room or the space, and that's the last thing we want, because when you couple staging with doing the 3 Ds, you're really setting yourself up to make your home pop online. So getting the clutter gone, depersonalizing, which again means getting rid of like personal portraits, anything with you just want to get rid of the personal stuff, because you ultimately, and this is what even my stager will tell you, you want people to envision themselves in your home versus noticing all of your items. And so that's also where staging comes into play, because staging is not just about making your space look pretty, it's about playing to a buyer's psychology. It's about defining and giving purpose to each room and making sure that the space is maximized and showing to the very best of its ability. So if you don't do the 3 Ds in the staging, that's gonna equal sad seller, not savvy seller. But doing those, and again, I know that sometimes people can be like, well, I don't wanna have to deal with staging. I always am gonna provide my sellers with a complimentary staging consultation. And with that, a lot of times my stager can give you awesome suggestions and little tweaks that you have to do throughout your home. And those tweaks, you wouldn't believe the incredible difference that they make. Now, if you are dealing with really old, maybe dark, heavy furniture, there may be some that she asks for you to go ahead and pack, and maybe some new stuff is brought in. It just depends. She really likes to do the occupied staging, which means using what you have, but just tweaking it here and there. A lot of times you can do that and it makes a difference without like having to move all furniture out and like all new stuff in. So there are ways around it, but trust me, it makes a difference. And statistically, homes that are staged sell faster and for more money. And even in the seller's market, I'm a big believer in no matter what, always putting your best foot forward, because it does, believe it or not, make a difference. And if you don't believe me, again, you can go do some of the research yourself on some of the sites where, as you know, I bet you're well aware that in this market, homes are selling so fast. But if you actually go and see that a home has been sitting longer than 5 or 6 days, check their photos. Check what just give it a look, because chances are it could be that they have bad photos. It could be that it's not marketed properly. It could be that it's priced too high. So ultimately, if you want to be a sad seller, don't mess with staging. Don't deep clean, depersonalize, declutter. Don't do any of it. But if you want to be a savvy seller, those are definitely things that are going to help you sell for the most money and for the best terms possible, even in this crazy seller's market. And then the number 3 mistake that can cause you to be a sad seller versus savvy seller is going to be not pricing your home correctly. Pricing is going to be really important even in this crazy seller's market. Now, I have done a couple of videos on pricing mistakes that I see sellers make, and if you want to learn more, you can go check them out right here. But here's something else to consider, because I know a lot of times people can live under those myths of, oh, I can get whatever I want for it in this market, or I want to price it here and hope to land here. Here's the thing, think of pricing as like the food pyramid that we all like lived by 20 plus years ago, right? And so think of that pyramid and then put kind of a line right in the middle, and that's gonna be market value. You wanna price your home at market value or just slightly under, because if you think about it, if you think below that line, you have a bigger chunk down there, and that means a bigger buyer pool, versus as you go above market price, as the pyramid goes up, the buyer pool gets smaller and smaller. So if you want to be a savvy seller and you want to get the best money possible for your home, you're going to want to price it at market or just below market value, because that does allow the ability for the market to do its thing, to where when you're priced right, you have a larger buyer pool, which then can drive price up, get you the multiple offers and the best terms possible. So again, what do you want to do if you want to be a savvy seller? You want to get an agent who's going to provide you with photos and videos, because it's critically important to your online presence. In order to make those pop, you really want to make sure that you stage your home and do the 3Ds. And then number 3, of course, is going to be pricing it right. If you follow those 3 steps, you're going to be well on your way to being a savvy seller who sells right and sells smart. Now, if you are thinking about selling in the Nashville-Franklin area, if you are curious about what else you may need to do to make sure that you reach ultimate savvy seller success, then you can click down below and get my Savvy Seller Success Guide. And if you are wanting a free home evaluation to get an idea of what you could sell for, you can also click that link down below, and my team and I will get you a comparative market analysis as soon as possible, so we can start the conversation about how we can get you to the ultimate savvy seller success. Again, my name is Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.